in a pandemic, rip babies from their mothers' arms at the border, send federal troops to terrorize protesters, manufacture new ways to suppress black and brown votes, actively disrespect indigenous people and land, traffic in white supremacist rhetoric in an effort to stir up racist violence at every turn, attempt to dismantle American democratic systems of checks and balances, to grave women all day, every day, infect the Supreme Court with another misogynist hack, demolish America's standing on climate, actively cultivate and further white supremacist structures and systems all across American aspects, all aspects of American daily life. I mean, that's what she didn't do, so I don't want to hear anything bad about her. It doesn't matter to me. Vote them in and let's hold them accountable. Anything other than that is insanity. It's ego. It's against our own interests. It's selfish. It's disrespectful to our elders. It's nonsense. It's talking to hear yourself talk. This is a matter of life or death. We need all our energy focused. This is a fight for more than can be expressed here. There's no debate anymore. Not for me, anyway. This is unfortunately absolutely not how politics should work. Accountability does not start when someone is elected to office. Yes, Kamala Harris was not responsible for Stephen Miller's family separation policy, but she was a senator at the time. She has held offices of extraordinary power for the majority of 2 decades now. If holding her accountable has to be put on pause till she's vice president, what the hell is the point of representative democracy? I mean, again, I saw this happen with people in the New York Times. It was a really interesting tweet that I briefly came across yesterday. It was the New York Times had done this little project where it's like, if you had to say any word of advice to Biden and Harris, actually I think it was just Harris, what would you say? And again, it is kind of a weird thing to ask. It's a little bit unorthodox, but I mean, I can pull it up here. But I think the reaction to it is really so telling to me. Let's see. Let's see. I do apologize here. Yeah. So this is it. This is one that a guy gave. Quote to the editor. This is letters to the editor meant to Kamala Harris. Miss Harris, I am someone who didn't think Joe Biden should have selected you. Here's why. I watched you closely during the primaries. I saw a politician who hedged your bets, whose opinion shifted like mercury depending on blowback and polling. I saw someone whose ambition outweighed her ethics. I didn't trust you, and it was no surprise your campaign lost steam so soon. I beg you to plant your feet and stop turning yourself into a pretzel by trying to offer something for everyone. Get over your mistakes as prosecutor and California's attorney general. You made them. We know it. The last thing we want to hear is obfuscation as a defense. Take the hit. Take responsibility. Tell us what you've learned from your past. That will kill those questions up front, not allow them to fester and make you change your story bit by bit, day by day. Let us see you being connected and real, not false. We will follow you anywhere. So this is an incredibly well-meaning, I think, letter to the editor for Kamala Harris here, which offers genuinely good advice. It's not just a sexist thing, or it's not just helping Trump to say that Kamala Harris made legitimate mistakes throughout her political career. It's the wide consensus of the Democratic base that's the case. Just look at how she did in the Democratic primaries. It is right there for you, clear as day. There's things that are need to change, not just with Kamala Harris, but with the entire Democratic ticket. This generally is a good advice for pretty much any politician as well, man or woman. We know it. The last thing we want to hear is obfuscation as defense. Take the hit. Take responsibility. Tell us what you learned from your past. That will kill those questions up front, not allow them to fester and make you change your story. We're pretty much all saying is just be upfront, be honest with your mistakes. Be open about it. If you feel you've screwed up, don't apologize for something that you haven't apologized for. But if you feel like you screwed up, we all know you made the mistakes, please just apologize for them and move on. I think it'll garner you a lot of respect. And he literally says, we'll follow you anywhere. We are here for you. It's not something that, he's trying to be an asshole about it. But, yeah, I think this guy's a executive consultant on leadership. But, and then this guy is, this guy who's a reporter and analyst for Inside Elections, formerly on he's pretty much a Beltway reporter. So, and again, he just goes, wild letters section in today's NYT. The paper asked readers to give advice to Harris and almost uniformly got replies from men ranging from well-intentioned to deeply patronizing, and replies from women remarking on the flawed nature of the question. So, yeah, and you could be as snarky as you like, but I don't think the advice the man gave is that bad. This is what I tweeted out yesterday. People are allowed to ask things of the representatives without being sexist. I think it's important. Like, it's allowed. You're allowed to hold people accountable. Yeah. This is a multi-ethnic black woman who, if elected, would come closer to the presidency than any woman of color or any woman at all has been in the history of the country. Her place on the ticket with Joe Biden is a long overdue step toward further representation for millions of black and Asian Americans who've been overlooked and underserved in electoral politics for centuries. We, especially white commentators like me, have to take these factors into consideration when discussing Harris. The consequences, if we don't, are very, very clear, because we still have the GOP doing this actually bad rhetoric against Harris. But what that means is, yes, we do have to be careful of framing our critiques in a way that we don't for Biden, the embodiment of generations-long white political privilege. But if the less mentioning around Harris strays too close to the personal attacks that will be leveled by the right over the course of the general election, we'll be working against ourselves. That is true. That's fair. But none of these qualifications or considerations should make her immune from criticism, which is a vital part of the political process. Really, to keep and preserve democracy. Like, you should always be allowed to criticize elected officials. That's something that liberals, they do this kind of thing that it does not make any sense to me. It's like you see these people doing these things that you disagree with. You can always criticize them. They're supposed to be. They want to be able to represent you. Kamala Harris is going to be the vice president of the entire country. That's a very serious role, and she should be accountable to people when she does it. So, I mean, I think a big step in the right direction would be for her to be, and liberals to be open to accepting these critiques, building off of them, so we see more polls like the ABC News Washington Post poll and less like the CNN poll. All right, so that's all the time we have for today. If you are interested, please join us tonight to watch the convention. Stay tuned at SPW272 for details on when we're going to be streaming with that. So, yeah, that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and maybe we'll watch Bernie speak, maybe watch a few other people speak and cringe at them. Either way, it's said to be a lot of fun. So we'll try to make it as fun as possible if we do end up doing it. So please join us then. So without further ado, that's all we got for you today. This has been Newsflash. We will be back this Thursday for another episode. See you then.